What's up, guys? I'm Joe. Today I'm talking about the new U2 album, Songs of Experience. So U2 are back with their 14th studio album, Songs of Experience, the follow-up to the sort of infamous Songs of Innocence, which is that album that appeared on everyone's iPhones out of nowhere without anyone asking for it. I've always sort of liked U2. I've never done like the full dive into their discography. Obviously I know like the bigger songs, and as far as albums go, like of course the Joshua Tree is a fantastic album, Achtung Baby, some things like that. Their sort of poppier material, such as on the album Pop, kind of lost me. I actually thought their earlier 2000s material that was pretty good. They had the albums All That You Can't Leave Behind and How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, which had really big singles for them on there, as well as some, great deeper cuts on those albums. But they kind of lost me again with those next couple records. Songs of Innocence wasn't anything that really jumped out at me. They seemed to be trying to harken back to the older days, but didn't really quite pan out. I think Songs of Experience is a huge step forward from that one, and, easily their best record since those earlier 2000s albums. There's actually some really enjoyable stuff on here, and, it just kind of feels more like a cohesive album to me than, the previous outing. I feel like, though it's a sort of companion record, the time that has now been spent between the two definitely shows. If I'm correct, I think originally Experience was supposed to come out fairly close to Innocence, the songs of which had been done in the same kind of studio sessions, but eventually the band went back and they decided they were going to write a whole bunch of new stuff for Experience, and it definitely has a different vibe to it. They sort of dabble in some newer sounds, but they don't lose that kind of U2 quality, that stadium anthem kind of feel to their songs. And even so, though it has those kind of, usual U2 qualities, I think it actually does a better job of feeling like more stripped down back to basics at the same time, rather than Songs of Innocence. For example, Lights of Home, one of my favorites on here. It's more or less the sort of intro track on here because Love Is All We Have Left that came before it, kind of just like a short intro type thing. So things really get kicking with Lights of Home. And, I really enjoy this song. It does quite a lot. It has some modern elements as far as the vocals kind of go, the backing vocals that come along with it. I can't quite put my finger on it. It just reminds me of some more modern stuff. Got a nice bluesy guitar riff coming from the edge here. But overall, the instrumentation itself feels very stripped down. It feels like the drums are very raw, the guitar is raw with the bass and everything, and Bono's vocals. They kind of feel like they're right there in a room. But at the same time, the song really branches out, and towards the end you get this nice big soulful, stadium-ready sing-along section, which works very well. The next track, Get Out of Your Own Way, has a lot of the great qualities that make a lot of, strong U2 singles. Think of things such as Beautiful Day or With or Without You. The way the drums kind of build up in the verses, they start low and they raise up. And ultimately, Bono offers a really strong melody as far as the chorus goes. One problem I've seen people having with this album that you could probably say about this song is the lyrics seem a little vague and just a little generic. Bono's just sort of offering very broad platitudes to go off of. Get out of your own way. Love is bigger than anything in its way, that kind of stuff. I didn't find that overly distracting, about this album as a whole. I didn't have quite the problem with it as I've seen some reviews do. Overall, I think, Bono's delivery as far as the lyrics go and the way they, meld into all these great melodies, it really serves the music fairly well for me. American Soul, definitely another favorite for me. Has a, nice rock edge to it, some great, like, fuzzy riffs, very nice bass groove going on in this song. I love the way the chorus just really, builds up and just, hits pretty hard, and, Bono's vocals getting up there a little bit. I like the little features of Kendrick Lamar coming at the end of the last track and the beginning of this one. I thought that was a little bit overblown because when these songs were initially being advertised as singles, they were like, oh, featuring Kendrick Lamar, so you thought he would have more of a part in them, I guess, but I think like his parts serve fairly well here. The verses of American Soul are interesting because they're lifted from the feature that U2 had on Kendrick's album, so I thought that was pretty cool. And speaking of that kind of great bass groove going on in American Soul, you get it again with Red Flag Day. This is a very, rhythmic song. I like the sort of twangy, bouncy guitar patterns, and, the drums really accent that quite well with that sort of bounciness. And, the bass really gets to shine again on this one, which I do like. And it sort of adds to that kind of stripped down feel to some of these songs. There are a few weaker moments on this one. One that instantly comes to mind is The Showman. I guess this is going for like a 50s or 60s pop kind of vibe to it, the way, you know, the guitars work and the way the drum beat especially accents these parts. I just found that the song gets a little too repetitive. That style doesn't quite work for me for U2. This is one that I could see being a leftover from Songs of Innocence. I don't know if that's true, but it definitely feels like something in the vein of that album, which, you know, didn't quite work for me. And the last two tracks, Love is Bigger Than Anything in Its Way. One of the weaker ballad type songs on here, or like the, you know, more slower down stadium type songs. I think Get Out of Your Own Way works a lot better. And the same can be said about Summer of Love or Landlady. Landlady especially, you know, I like because it seems like it's telling more of a story. It has more of a, you know, down-to-earth type feel. Like I said, though, I didn't find it to be a big problem. A lot of these songs are addressing really huge topics, you know, whether it be love or humanity or politics. And, you know, the Landlady song kind of brings everything in a little bit, and that works very well. You know, and finally, I'll talk about The Blackout, which I think is a really fun song. And it does sort of harken back to some of U2's poppier material, but I think it doesn't, you know, really overdo it. It makes for a pretty fun song. Again, the bass really gets the shine. That's what I like about a lot of these songs on here. You know, very big on rhythm and having, like I said, this sort of stripped down garage type feel to it. I mean, you even get that in some of the fuzzier songs and more of the bigger rock tracks. They found a pretty good way to, you know, feel like it's them just playing in a room, you know, the way it is production-wise with the, you know, the main instruments, but while also adding some of the grander aspects of U2's material that we've seen in the past, and even dabbling in some newer type themes and, you know, newer type genres. You know, all of which makes for a pretty good album, actually. Like I said, I haven't really liked some of their later material. I think this is the strongest stuff they've done in a while, for sure. I've been kind of on the fence about the score. You know, don't put, you know, too much thought into the score I'll give, but I'm going to give it like a stronger 3.5 out of 5. I don't think it quite gets to a 4 for me. Maybe because of some of those weaker moments. And while, like, the songs I like are good, they aren't, you know, my favorite of U2's or anything like that. So I think it's a solid release. 3.5 out of 5 feels good for me. So let me know what you think of the album in the comments. Don't forget to check out some other videos. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.